Aperture. An aperture is the controller of intensity, also known as how much light is let into your camera. The aperture is a resizable opening through which the light passes while the shutter is open. Aperture is also referred to as the f-stop. In class, we looked at some old lenses and looked through them as we opened and closed your aperture. You'll see numbers on your aperture like what you see below here, like f2.8 and 4 and 5.6, all the way up to like f24 or 36, depending on what types of lenses you have. Aperture controls your depth of field. Depth of field is the amount of picture area in front of or behind the main subject that is in sharp focus. As the size of the aperture gets smaller, which is actually a bigger number, the depth of field increases or is more clear and less fuzzy. There's two different kinds of depth of field. The first is short depth of field, which gives you a soft focus look in the foreground or the background of your image. Large aperture openings of 1.4 through 5.6 will give you this type of image. Long depth of field is the second type. In a long depth of field photograph, everything is totally clear. Foreground, middle ground, and background are all in focus. To get a photo that looks like this, you will have to use a small aperture opening, f11 through 36. Here are some examples of the same picture and how it changes when you change your aperture from a large opening to a small opening. Here's your aperture cheat sheet. It gives you a great visual of your aperture with the numbers. Remember, the number is a fraction, so the smaller the number, the larger the opening. It also gives you examples of what your image will look like when you use that type of aperture.